Hi there, it's Jennifer McGuire for Studio Calico. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create the reverse of a mask. It's kind of hard to explain, but I'll show you here in a moment. Studio Calico makes a lot of great masks, and it's fun to use them in the reverse. So all of these big circles in the background here are actually the reverse of the mask, and I'll show you that in a moment. Now, this layout features products from the April kit and add-ons, and there's lots of great stuff in there, including this mask by Christy Tomlinson, which is in one of the add-on kits. And you can see it's this thin-lined, open circle kind of mask, and we're going to use this to create this look, where it looks like the reverse, where the solid parts in the center are masked and the colors where the thin lines are. So we're going to get a reverse this way. And I'll show you here. If it's not real clear, let me just show you. This is the mask. It's really great. It's great for the Mister Hueys sprays, for inks, anything you want. And this one Studio Calico didn't make. It's in their kit, but it's not made by Studio Calico. But this technique works with the Studio Calico masks also. So what I'm going to do is take this, and I'm holding it down with some sticky Eclipse masking tape there. That's what that little white piece is. You could use tape also. And I have this on watercolor paper. White cardstock would work also. And I'm pressing Versamark ink over this. It's just a sticky clear ink. And I'm making sure to cover all of the open areas here so that the mask is just protecting those thin areas, but everything else will be covered with this clear sticky ink. So now I'm going to move that little piece of tape that's holding it in place. I'm going to keep it still with my hand and make sure that's completely covered with this clear ink. You could use any kind of embossing ink for this. And you can kind of see the image there, but now I'm going to take some white embossing powder. This is Hero Arts white embossing powder, but any kind would work. And I'm going to shake it on, and you can see the pattern there. Now as I heat this up, I'll end up with white in all those areas where that Versamark ink was. So now we're going to add some color to it. That's completely embossed there. You can see the pattern. I'm using Distress ink for this because I love this ink and it moves when it comes in contact with water. So what I'm going to do is just use my ink blending tool, which is a foam applicator, to rub some broken china ink around the center circle here. And then I'll go in with some peeled paint Distress ink in the center, and then pumice stone, which is a great gray color, on the outside edge. Now you can let these colors overlap, that's fine. Don't spend too much time blending them because we're going to spray them and that will cause the blending to occur. If you don't have Distress inks, you could do this with markers like plain markers, or any kind of other dye ink will work also. So I'm taking the Studio Calico, Mister Hueys Calico Shine, and spraying this on here pretty heavily. Now this will make the surface very shiny, which is really nice, and it also cause those inks to blend a bit. Now I'm going with a cloth and just dabbing off the extra so it's not all puddled on the white embossing, but leaving enough of it in the crevices. And then I'm also wiping away the white embossed area too, so it's nice and bright white. And you end up with that great shine that's in all the color that's helped to blend it, and also gives a shine to the embossing too. Now that this is dry, I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. With my scissors. You could zap this lightly with a heat gun, but you don't want to mess up that embossing powder. So it's better to just kind of let it air dry or give it a light zap with a heat gun. And there you get the shine and the color blending. And it looks like the reverse of the mask. If you would have just laid the mask down and sprayed over it, you would have color where everything is white here. So it's just another way to get more out of your mask. And I also did two more here where I just did the same technique, but I cut the circle down smaller. So I followed some of the inside patterns on that mask. Now to pull these elements together, I cut some strips from different papers from the April kits and add-ons, and I used one for the background here. And I'll just layer this all together to kind of pull it all together with my photos. So there I've glued some down, and then I let my masked pieces here kind of hang off the edge. Just going to trim anything that's hanging off. It's real easy to do. And I like to put 3 elements of everything. So I have one large, one medium, one small, and they're just kind of scattered like a triangle on the layout. It seems to be more appealing to the eye. And then I made sure that a couple of these circles touched my photos, so that kind of grounded them there. Next, there's this great ribbon that's glittered ribbon, and it's not like glitter that will fall off and make a mess in your project. It's part of the ribbon. It's hard to explain, but it's nice and shiny. It looks like glitter, although it's not. And it's great for just a nice little trim across a page. And so I'm just going to conserve this ribbon because I like it. I tend to hoard ribbon like this by just using what's sticking out from the doily here, or the mask here. I don't need a strip that goes all the way across. Then there's these thickers that are included in one of the kits, and I'm just going to apply these for my title, which you'll see here. And next I'm going to finish it off with some buttons. These are the Dear Lizzie wood buttons, and these are really fun. If you look closely, some of these buttons have little epoxy circles in the center, and you can use them like that with the epoxy circle, or you can pop that epoxy circle out and it's just a regular button. You can see that one came off there. And watch, if you look at this yellow one here, I'm going to pop that yellow epoxy off so that I can use it just as a button. So I'm going to use these and scatter them all along my page with some string. I always use string on my buttons. It just seems to anchor it nicely. And I added a little bit of computer journaling before and after my title just to expand it a little bit. Then there's one more element to this page I wanted to show you, and it is this stamp here. It says Love You, and actually the whole stamp says Love You More. It's a great stamp that's included in one of the add-ons. And I just took the more part off and just added it to the side of the photo. I hope this inspires you to take your mask and use them in a reverse way with embossing and lots of ink and shine. If you have any questions, please visit studiocalico.com, and we'll see you next month with some more techniques.